So I think you'll agree, most people will openly and honestly say that display ads on your website make your site look ugly, cluttered and untidy. And it's not a great user experience. However, it is part of business. It is the way we generate majority of our income on some websites. Now, my thought process on this is when you land on a website, the first reaction you get will determine how long you stay on that website. For instance, if above the fold, that's the top part of your website, the first thing you see on a screen before you have to scroll up, if you see too many adverts on the top of that website, it's going to make the user bounce. So that's when they land on your website, they look at their phone or their computer and there's so many ads all over the place, it puts them off. They can't even read the content and they exit and go find another website. So my thought process on that is, what would happen if I removed the above the fold ads on my website? Which I think could make an interesting experiment because the ads above the fold are notoriously the best places to generate revenue. They are the ad spots that most companies want on a website. They don't want their adverts right in the footer or at the bottom. They want them prominently at the top of the page when you land on it, so you can see their products and their services and click on an ad and go purchase something. If anybody ever does that. How many of you have actually clicked on an ad and purchased something? I've never done that. However, it is what people pay for and they are the most lucrative ads. Now, disclaimer, I am not saying everybody should rush out now and disable all the ads above the fold. What I'm going to say is just have a look at some of these numbers and it might give you an idea of how much revenue you could possibly lose. And I was actually quite shocked. But did it improve the user experience? Did I get more time on page? Did my articles rank better without the ads above the fold? What happened? Well, let's jump over the computer now. I've got some results. Now, granted, this is not a long experiment. I only turned them off for around 7 days just to see what the effect was. And when I saw these results, I switched them back on. And you'll see why. So let's just head over to the computer now and we'll take a look. So let's start off by explaining what ads above the fold is. Now, it originally comes from the newspaper industry, but in internet terms and on our websites, ads above the fold are basically what is seen as soon as somebody lands on your page. It's either on the desktop, that first screen, or on your mobile. So it's the content on the first screen before you need to start scrolling. If you have to start scrolling down to see the content, then that is usually placed below the fold. And you can see there on that image, it shows a website there. It says it's time for hiking. And you can see there, that is what they class as above the fold. So feel free to pause this and take a read of that, or click the link in the description to read more about ads above the fold, the concept behind them and what they're actually used for and how you can use them to your benefit. So let's take a look at one of my websites, and you can see I've recorded this on my phone, and you can see this is an article with ads in place above the fold, and you can see how they do interrupt the actual content. So the user's trying to find the answer, but it's obscured by the ads. And now you can see this is the same article with the ads above the fold tab on Ezoic activated. And you can see it's removed the ads, so you can now get the answer before you actually scroll down below the fold, and then the ads will start showing. Now if you take a look at desktop, it's a similar story. You can see the ad at the top, and there you see the first sentence is obscured again by an ad. So here's another example. This is desktop version. I've removed the ads here, and you can see the answer, the format is lovely, it's laid out nicely. And then we see the first ad appear right at the bottom of the fold, and then throughout the article the ads appear naturally, which is fine. So let me show you how to actually change the setting inside your Ezoic dashboard to disable the ads above the fold. So first of all, log into your Ezoic dashboard. Once inside your Ezoic dashboard, simply click the Delete button and click Optimize on the left hand side. Then click Change Settings and go down to Script Execution and click the Advanced Settings. And then you will see on the right hand side, Disable Ads above the fold. As you can see, it does say here, enabling this feature may decrease your revenue, but it will improve the performance and also the user experience. So simply click the Disable tab on, click Next, and then review your website. Once you have reviewed that everything is working correctly and you can confirm you're happy to go ahead with this function, then simply click the Next button and click Activate. And there you go, you have now disabled the settings. I would also recommend that just going to your caching tab on the left hand side and select to clear the caching on your website so the changes are implemented much quicker. Let's have a look at some of the results. And if we start right at the bottom, I'll try and zoom in so you can see some of the details on this. So you can see right at the bottom, we activated the no ads above the fold feature on the 23rd of November. And I've compared this in big data analytics for week like on like. So you can see there the 23rd of November was a Wednesday compared to November the 16th, which was also a Wednesday. And we saw a decrease in revenue by 18.6%. So on Wednesday the 16th, with ads above the fold, we earned $23. Compare that to the week where we had no ads above the fold, it was $18.76. Now, if I scroll right to the end, you can see the on-page time, and I was quite encouraged by this. It was up by 4.65%, so more users were staying on the page for longer. So I thought that backed up my theory of having no ads above the fold would work really well. However, I think it was just the fact that the caching hadn't cleared, and you can see there on November the 24th, went from $23.78 all the way down to $15.58, which was a 34.47% drop in revenue. And if we scroll again over to the time on page, we actually lost people staying on page. So it was down by 4.97%. So I expected with no ads above the fold to see people staying on page longer. And in fact, they didn't. That decreased by nearly 5%. Now, again, let's check some of the other numbers. If we go further up the screen and we go to November the 26th, which was a Saturday, we saw $21.49, where previously with ads above the fold, I was making $28.79. So again, a 25% drop. Now, again, did that affect the time on page? No, again, people stayed on page actually less by 2.91%. So if we then scroll to the top of the page, you can see there on Tuesday the 29th, I actually reinstated the ads above the fold and revenue went straight back up, 7.5% back up, and we made $18.80 compared to $17.49. So an overall view, revenue for the week 18.24% down, EPMV almost 14% down, which makes sense. We've removed some of the most lucrative ads on there. Page views were down, engaged time on page was down, and the actual bounce rate remained the same. So there was no difference in user experience or page views. However, my revenue was down between 15 and 25%. So it looks like people really don't care about ads above the page, even if it does make your website look ugly. So there you go. As you can see, I lost between 15 and 25% of my revenue. However, my user time on page did not really increase. I did not get more sales through Amazon. That stayed around the same. And I didn't see any peaks in my traffic. Now, like I say, granted, I should have really run this for around a month or two. I should have let Google re-crawl the website and see if it says, hey, Cal's got no ads on there now. Let's push him up to the top of the rankings. But seeing as most of the ads come through Google, I don't see why Google would be too bothered having some ads above the fold. Now, like I say, draw your own conclusions from this video. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm just saying that I turned my Ezoic ads off for 1 week above the fold and I lost 25% of my income. I gained no more time on page. My users didn't seem to have a better page experience, although I did find it much better. I do believe it looks much cleaner, much more enjoyable and more interesting to read the content without the ads all over. But I understand it's a necessary part of the business and it's a double-edged sword really. If you want to make money on your website and the traffic you get, you either need to sell a product, a service, a digital asset, or you display some ads and make that monthly revenue. So thanks for joining me. I hope you found that interesting, and I'll see you in the next video.